This is Coffee, Country, and Cody.
Welcome to the Grand Ole Opry Plaza, the Acuff House Studio on Election Day 2024 in America, where early thoughts are that the ticket of Jeannie Seeley and Charlie McCoy are going to run the table. Right in surprise.
Yeah.
That seems to be strong.
If I see them on the ballot, that's my vote for sure.
Secretary of Comedy, Henry Cho.
Nice.
And of course, we've got Secretary of State, T. Graham Brown, and Secretary of Defense, Rhonda Vincent.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
and you'll be with all of them. They're actually going to play the Opry on Election Day.
Well, you know, they want to go to work immediately. They don't want to wait and rest on their laurels or their past history. They want to see whom get out there and work for the people.
I wrote in Gene Watson. I used my constitutional right to go off the ballot.
Good for you.
Yeah.
And Annie Bosco, May Estes, and Connor Smith are just looking for some sort of cabinet position.
There you go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think Connor Smith would be like a good dignitary overseas. He's got good relations.
Ambassador.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, I think we'll work on that. We'll see.
Of country music.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Pick me.
We need it.
Well, good morning, Kelly Sutton. I know you're working on a lot of things over there in addition to the fact that it's Election Day and at Opry Show Night that you're going to be hosting.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got Craig Morgan coming up with a Veterans Day special that we want to make sure everybody knows about. Also, Kelsey Ballerini and Kelly Clarkson together on Kelly's show was magical. I found this clip. I have to show it with all of my love. I share this to everybody because it is one of those songs that I think is probably going to be a breakout song for Kelsey, but hearing Kelly Clarkson on it as well is just chef's kiss. So stay tuned for that. And Brooks and Dunn Reboot 2. So they're coming back. It's all the favorites that you already know and love, sung by some of today's hit makers. Details coming up.
And I voted on the first day of early voting, which was October 15th, and it wrapped up like the 30th, 31st, end of October, I guess. But you did not vote early this year.
No, I'm doing it. I'm doing it on Election Day. Renee is in line right now, and she says there's not many people this morning at Oliver Middle School where our precinct is. So precinct. That's not right. Precinct.
Yeah,
that's right.
7 o'clock.
7 to 7.
7 to 7. Okay.
So I'll be there around lunchtime.
All right.
I think the rule is as long as you are in line at 7, you are allowed to vote.
Correct.
So if you come squealing in on 2 tires, just get in line before 7.
Will this be a Charlie Mattos personal appearance where you'll sign autographs as well as vote?
I stop people and make them take my signature. Yes.
More Coffee, Country, and Cody is on WSN.
So come with me, if you will. Let me take you by your little hand, and we'll see the mouse, and we're going to move it over here, and we're going to click on tntrailsandbyways.com and take you someplace you didn't even know you wanted to go, and that is the Discovery Park of America near Union City, far northwest corner of the state. Get ready to light up your holiday season. Charlie Mattos, Let It Glow Light Show.
Oh, I
at
love
the
that.
Discovery Park of America, and it starts on the 15th of this month of November and goes through the end of the year. And you'll find out a lot of things about the Discovery Park in general that you didn't know just by logging on, but particularly here as we get into Thanksgiving and Christmas.
So is this a kids thing, kind of like Adventure Science Center, Discovery Park? It sounds like one of those.
Yes, at its heart, but it's one of those where the parents leave and go, that was so much fun, too.
Oh,
you know?
yeah. There's you'll find a place in Chattanooga called Wonderworks that's the same thing. It's just as much fun for the parents as it is for the kids. And those are just 2 of 1,300 plus options you can find at tntrailsandbyways.com. And I love the website for several reasons. If you live in Nashville and you're just looking for something out of the box, or maybe a weekend getaway that's a little out of the norm, or if you're coming to hang out with us for a week or so, you're watching on circlecountry.com. That website is truly indispensable. tntrailsandbyways.com.
And then in a couple of Thursday night, a couple of days, Kelly Sutton and I, a couple of nights actually, will flip the switch. It's roughly from 5:30 to 6 o'clock, somewhere along in there, in front of Gaylord Opryland. Light the lights to make A Country Christmas 2024 a reality with Terry Clark and the frontmen of country inside for the dinner show. But again, the Let It Glow Discovery Park Light Show is on beginning November 15th. That and so much more. tntrailsandbyways.com. Get off the beaten path. Stand out on the scenic route. Kelly Sutton Entertainment, update us on what's happening over there.
Hello, good morning. Let's talk about what's coming up this Friday. As we said, we are getting closer to Veterans Day. That's 11/11. But so many people are going to be recognizing and celebrating it this coming Friday, including PBS. The PBS special is going to be happening, and a couple of familiar faces are going to be involved with it. Mickey Guyton is actually hosting this television special, again, on PBS. It's called PBS's Salute to Service 2024 of Veterans Day. And our buddy Craig Morgan is going to appear. He's going to be performing with the United States Army Field Band. So be looking forward to that. Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern on your local PBS station. Well, Kelly Clarkson and Kelsey Ballerini. This is a group we didn't know we needed. The duo, the collaboration that I listened to yesterday and went, wow, this is so good. Kelly and Kelsey go way back. They've been friends for a long time. In fact, they performed, I believe it was on the CMA Awards when Kelsey did her song, If You Go Down, I'm Going Down Too. Kelly came out, sang with her. They've done some touring together. So when Kelsey came over to do Kelly Clarkson's show, she said, hey, why don't you sing with me? This is one of my new songs, To the Men Who Love Women After Heartbreak.
So in teasing you are coming, I said remixed, remastered, reimagined. Please welcome Hunter Hayes to Coffee Country and Cody.
I love that. I'm stealing that. I'm absolutely stealing that. That's beautiful. Well done. Yeah.
And you are sitting on wood from the historic Ryman Auditorium stage, the same wood that the Opry Circle is made from.
No, that is...
Are you feeling something different now?
I am, yeah. I wondered why, when I sat in the chair, it just I felt calm, even though getting, morning... For me, I'm still getting used to the morning traffic here in Nashville. I think we all are. I don't know. Just me?
No.
I think the fact is we never, ever get used to it.
Yeah, okay.
I think
Fair.
that's the problem.
Good point. Yeah, fair point. Well, it's good to see you all. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
And I want to say maybe the last time I saw you was on the stage of the Grand Ole Opry. It's been a while.
It has been a while.
Yeah. Well, catch us up. You were telling an interesting story about recording and how you go about it off the air that I think is worth sharing on the air.
Well, my process has always been, I'm so grateful that when I found music, I found it via, in an era where you can record at home, right? Mm-hmm. I fell in love with recording studios, fell in love with sessions, all those things. But when I was writing music, when I was finding my voice in music, when 12, 13, 14, 15, I didn't have a budget for going into a studio, getting musicians. This was, if it was going to get done, I had to figure out how to do it. And so I fell in love with the writing, recording, producing. I fell in love with finding songs myself, one piece at a time. If there was an instrument that needed to be played and I didn't know how to play it, I just had to figure out how to play it. And I just had to play it good enough so that I could make that one part work in the song. So it became a process that I just fell in love with, and it's always been my process. So it was my process on the first record. I played everything on the first record, but not, as I can play everything. It was more of this is my process. This is how I find music. And it's still how I find music. It's still... it's grown, it's changed, and now it's gone from me making stuff in my bedroom to, going out and finding, some kind of location that speaks to me, some kind of location where I feel free, where I feel like there's space to make music. And then I just turned that into a studio. So it's less about putting a studio in the house and more about living in a place that feels like I can make music in it. So that's been the process. I went out to California during the sort of 2020, 2021, that time, and found this beautiful little cabin on the edge of the hill in the woods, and just made music all day, all night, until we could get back into, getting back on the road again, which was later in 2023, and then I came back to Nashville and found a beautiful place here, and that is my process, and I absolutely love it.
And you said because you're single, you can do things with your home related to studio work that you would not be able to do otherwise.
So the dining room has now become a recording studio.
To be fair, things are changing for me a little bit, but for a long time, I was single. I could do that, and it wouldn't offend anybody if the entire house was a studio, if the studio took over the whole house. And still, luckily, I think I'm in the company of someone who understands my passion and what I love, and is very tolerant. But yeah, I mean, it's been my process. It's how I find music, and it's been really good to me. And so I'm faithful to it.
We've known each other for a while,
Yes.
and seeing you now, there's a joy in you that I love seeing, I love hearing about. What is the most joyful part of the process for you now? I think back then it was playing live on stage. Is that still the part that you look most forward to?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and I think the time in which we spend a lot of time at home really makes you appreciate that even more.
Yeah.
And it becomes less of an expectation, and it becomes more of a dessert. You know, when I finally do get to play the songs that I work on until 3 a.m. every night in front of people, and if I'm lucky enough to see them sing along, that is a special, special gift. You know, doing less shows in a year now, getting back into a routine, that really made me appreciate the magic that is. Because, you know, it used to be, you know, write as many songs as you can. Produce it as fast, not as fast as you can, but be efficient, right? The goal was efficiency. Let's get the music all in a package, you know. And I never compromised quality, I would like to say. I mean, apart from a couple times.
And we're going to play that
But
right now.
I've been really, I've been really passionate about the craft of making the songs and not just, you know, sort of rushing them out. And all that said, I think it was easy to go, okay, now the song's done, let's just go on the road. Whereas now it's like, I do kind of sit with the song a little bit more and enjoy how it comes together, when it comes together, and have found a way to just really be grateful for that process and enjoy that as a sweet victory when a song is finished.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, there's a new EP. It comes out on the 15th, which is a week and a half away. Lost and Found. And we're going to feature Still Fallen from that work. Give us a backstory on Lost and Found. Are these old things that you didn't know you had? That's kind of, by title, what I think.
Yeah, well, these are both and. These are songs that have been part of my career, but, you know, now with a lot of changing media, et cetera, we could go on for that, you know, for hours. These are songs that have been a crucial part of my story that I felt the need to take with me into the future. And I think I'm going to continue to do this because I enjoy doing this. I enjoy, you know, as I said, I love working on music. I love producing. I love finding music. And so I think just as much as there is importance on the next project, and as excited as I am about it, I felt the need. I really wanted part of that project to be taking some things from my story with me. These 3 songs in particular, I think lyrically represent where I'm going on the next project. So it's kind of like having an old conversation with a new friend. Or a new conversation with an old friend. That's what I meant to say.
More coffee, country, and Cody is on WSM.
All right, doing homework, knowing you were coming, Hunter Hayes, Breaux Bridge, Louisiana.
Yeah.
Cajun ancestry. English, Scots-Irish, German. Grew up Catholic. So of all that Heinz 57 there, who are the fun people? The Cajuns?
Oh.
The fun people.
Well, it's probably not
in
the
your
Catholics.
in your heritage.
I mean, I would just say my grandparents. Man, also, like, when I think about that too, like, I was spoiled rotten because, like, as a kid, I got to, like, sit in with bands, right? So I started sitting with bands.
Like
and
two,
then,
you were 2 when you started singing or something.
like, yeah,
and then
something like
performing
that.
at 4?
I know, it sounds fake, but I got to sit in.
Let me take you back. This is what I've seen.
Okay.
Started making appearances at age 4, locally and nationally, including Maury, Rosie O'Donnell, Nickelodeon's Figure It Out. Performed Jambalaya, American songwriter. Let's see. Robert Duvall gave you at age 6, gave you your first guitar.
Gave me my first guitar, yeah, Robert Duvall.
You performed for President Clinton on the White House lawn.
Affirm, yes.
At 13, you appeared on America's Most Talented Kids.
I did, yes, with Tori Kelly, by the way.
Oh, no kidding.
Fun.
She won that episode. Good for her. Yeah,
So much better that it was her than somebody that you haven't heard of in years.
absolutely love it. Yeah,
And Dave Coulier was the host of that.
that's right. Yes, yes.
Oh my God.
Wow.
So those are just some highlights from the first few years.
I just so appreciate that. Yeah, thank you for that. I appreciate the amount of research that goes into these conversations. That is rare. The part that I'm most grateful for is that I never had to sit down and figure out what I was going to do for the rest of my life because I knew when I was 2. You know.
Yeah.
I got an accordion. I fell in love with playing. I fell in love with performing. And then when I found songwriting, I think that's when I found, you know, the reason for the song in a song. That is when I found my purpose as a human. I'm meant to take experiences, whether my own or other people, and turn them into something that we can live with forever. And I'm so grateful for that.
Having that Cajun French background, I mean, music is at the heart of those people. Food and music, those are two mainstays in that culture.
Yes. Yeah.
And you speak French?
I wish. No, I laugh because my dad tried so hard. He worked so hard to try to teach me something, and I left home with nothing.
Oh, that's.
I just wasn't good at learning a second language.
Can you sing in French?
I have no idea what I'm saying, but I can fake it. Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, not anymore, but yeah, I did. Basically, that's what I did my whole life. I sang in Cajun French, and I thought I knew what I was saying, but I probably didn't. That was my upbringing.
You said you started at 2.
Mm-hmm.
Was there ever a point in your life, Hunter, when you thought maybe this isn't what I want to do?
I mean, when I was like 7 or 8, I wanted to be a weatherman. Really wanted to.
I'm so glad you didn't
be
do
a
that.
meteorologist, and still would love to do it on the side. That and a monster truck driver and a pilot. Were my 3 other careers.
A meteorologist and a monster truck driver. I love it.
If you
A very
did the weather
imaginative
report
childhood.
Occasional.
inside, he's inside Gravedigger, and he's giving you the weather. He's like, "Get ready, it's partly cloudy." Just shaking the whole time.
Big imagination as a kid.
I
Big
love
imagination.
That.
Hasn't
That's
changed.
amazing.
Yeah, yeah. But like I said, I mean, obviously music is my passion now. But I'm really grateful that I found it at like middle school, high school time in my life, because it gave me a chance. It gave me a way to understand things I didn't understand, and music became therapy.
Did you ever get to do theater?
No. I mean,
feel
I
like
did.
You would
Okay,
be
well, actually,
I feel like you'd be great at
fun
it.
fact: I did. I ran
Okay.
sound. I was the audio and lighting director.
Oh, crew.
Because
Okay.
I loved the technical aspect of it, and I basically brought a whole studio to my high school gymnasium for a musical that we were doing, and I used a bunch of studio gear to make the sound better. And I thoroughly enjoyed playing that part,
So you get none of the credit if it goes well, and
Absolutely.
all of the blame if something's wrong. It's the
You get
sound
it.
guy blew it. I don't know what happened here. So
We sounded
Yeah.
great. in
you know
rehearsal.
what's interesting? You referenced being able to play everything, or learning at least to play everything. That probably felt very natural to you because that's the way you wanted to make the record. In reality, it's very rare. I'm actually trying to think of albums that I know where people played everything, and I can only think of 2. Daryl Scott did it on A Crooked Road, and what an amazing songwriter. And Paul McCartney has famously done it 3 times on the McCartney series of records. But that's pretty rare.
I think center field, John Fogerty, he played everything.
Yeah. Well, he made everyone else mad, so he had to play everything himself. I'm assuming Hunter still has people who like him.
God, I hope. Well, Stevie Wonder, Prince, there
There
are a lot.
are, but I'm just.
Yeah.
It's
a short list.
small group.
Yeah.
Right.
I appreciate you saying that. I think just technology has played a huge part in that. Because I think a lot of people that I look up to, even now, new artists, are kind of using that process, and I think the results of it are just so interesting because it's so much more fun to work with other people. But working alone, it does kind of allow for a lot of introspection, and it really forces you to see the music in a very honest light and have an honest conversation with yourself, thus the world, right? Like you end up with this really inescapably authentic product, and it's kind of that is something I look up to and respect.
Well, and I'm curious about this recurring video of you at a very young age. You were playing jambalaya, I want to say, with Hank Williams Jr. on stage, and that thing resurfaces from time to time and goes viral again. How old were you, and where were you when you did that? Do you recall?
I was 5.
Oh.
It was Texas Motor Speedway in Dallas, Texas. There were 120,000 people there, and I don't remember it happening. I remember being side stage. I remember meeting Hank early. What's crazy is that is how I got everything. That was one of the biggest catalysts to my career happening in Nashville. Someone found Cindy Foreman, my publisher, who's been like my music row mom for years. She found this clip of me playing with Hank. Wondered what I was up to, found at the time, get this, MySpace.
Whoa.
Found a MySpace page with a bunch of music that I had made and and messaged me, and I ignored it because I didn't think it was real. And then a month later, she sent the same message again, and I responded, and that's how I got conversations started with my publisher, and how I ended up meeting another individual at a record label and started having conversations. And that's honestly the catalyst that got me to Nashville, was this video showing up on YouTube.
Wow.
Yeah, and like,
That's so cool.
Well, it was everywhere. It's
crazy.
I remember when it first surfaced. So
I'll never escape it,
Right.
for better or for worse.
That's okay.
In a Song
We all have one of those.
is where we're going to close from your new EP, Lost and Found, and it's a 3-track project that comes out November the 15th. Backstory on In a Song as we close this morning. Again, thank you for getting up early and coming in.
Thank you guys for having me. I love getting to talk about my music because I make it by myself
And
all
we'll-
day.
Hey, you can come do weather. We have a weather
I would
segment.
love to.
Oh, good.
I would
Good,
love
You
good,
can
good.
drive your
Okay.
monster truck to the Opry the next time you
Sure,
play.
that'd be great.
As long as I could tape it. No, so In a Song is a song that I wrote. I started by myself in a hotel room, finished it with a friend of mine, Sam Alice. And it was the realization that things were going, I think I was going through a breakup or whatever, but it was the realization that at the end of the day, I'm never alone when I have music. And music is a place where I feel most alive, but it's also been a consistent friend for me. And it's also now re-recording the song, sort of imagining it, putting it back out. I think it's returning to the conversation and realizing, man, this is also what I really want my music to be for people. I really want my music to be a place that people can go to. I want it to be a friend. I want it to be a consistent friend that shows up for them. And that's what I want for my career. That's what I want. That is the definition of success for me. And this has been a very personal song for me and fans who have been around for 15 years, going to every show. I think we all kind of relate to this message in the song. And it is very much my theme song. I find myself in music. I find myself in a song.
More coffee, country, and Cody is on WSM.
It's the Tony Award-winning musical Shucked on display here on Coffee, Country, and Cody, opening tonight at TPAC. Shielded from the outside world, writes the Deseret in Salt Lake City, Utah, when they were there. By a tall wall of prosperous corn, the people of Cobb County have everything they need. They have zero interest in interacting with anyone beyond their golden ears of corn. But when an unknown source threatens that livelihood, the townspeople begrudgingly accept they may have to reach out for help.
Yeah.
Please welcome Mike Nappi, Peanut,
Hey, Peanut!
the Shucked cast.
The
to
Shucked cast. Let's
Coffee,
go.
Country, and Cody, representing the entire cast.
I got my Shucked hat.
Yeah,
Let's
you
see it.
do. I
Get
should have brought my
shucked?
coffee cup. I have a coffee cup that says "Get Shucked."
Is it a
and
corn too?
It's yellow.
There's a lot of corn merch out there.
It
A lot
really
of. You'd be surprised. It's and I want all of it. I want all of it.
You kind of grew up with corn around.
I
right?
did. I grew up in Bucks County, which is where Oscar Hammerstein actually wrote that corn is as high as an elephant's eye. Oklahoma.
Yeah. Oh, what a beautiful morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Doylestown, he wrote that. And
Wow.
I know, a little fun corn fact right off the bat.
And that's Bucks County in Pennsylvania.
In Pennsylvania,
People
yeah,
who don't know
so-
their geography.
Yes.
If you go to the shuckedmusical.com website, the first person you see looking the part of Uncle Sam from that famous photo, I Want You, the Uncle Sam where he's pointing
Yes.
the finger,
Right.
is endorsed by our official stalks person, Reba McEntire.
Oh, that's
Reba.
right. Yeah, she stepped up. Yeah.
Broadway's corniest hit is Stalking America.
Listen, I have been
There are
such
more
a fan. I have
plays
to tell
on
you.
words in this thing.
We're grinning ear to ear over here.
It's so great.
Come on.
I got to see it when it was still in previews.
That's
on
when I saw
Broadway.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. So Shane McAnally and Brandy Clark, two of our loved songwriters here in town, had been working
Incredible.
on this for years. And I've been friends with Shane for years. So I kind of watched it go through
Oh, my
the
goodness.
iterations. And it was Hee Haw, the musical.
Right. And did it become Moonshine or something?
I think so. It was just,
By
yeah,
name?
it moved through all of these iterations. And by the time it made it to Broadway, it was Shucked. And we got to see it as it was in previews. And I will tell you, I've never laughed harder. I've never been to a musical on Broadway where there was a mid-show standing ovation.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The same thing happened when I was there.
It was
Yeah,
crazy.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So you got to see it. What was your takeaway just watching it as an audience member?
I knew nothing going in.
Okay.
Which, how often do you get that these days? A brand new musical,
Brand new.
new score, new story. And I mean, I knew it was about corn. That was it. And I went and I laughed so hard, but was so surprised by the heart of the show. There's so much heart in the show. And I just left being like, I cannot believe what I just saw, what I just heard. The jokes are so funny. The music is just unbelievable.
I saw this one review that reads this, and my wife and I absolutely loved this show. The music and dancing were top notch, and the humor, well, it was so bad, it was good.
The coolest part about playing Peanut is you get the best one-liners.
There's some cool ones, yeah.
And
There's
Kevin
some
Cahoon was the original Peanut on Broadway, and
genius.
He was so fast.
Kevin Cahoon.
I love him.
Give it up for him.
It's like literally hearing it, and 2 seconds later it lands, and then you're laughing, and you almost miss the next joke.
It's so wild. And, we're playing like 3,000 seat houses and stuff. And so some of these, jokes are thinkers. Like it takes a second.
Right.
And you it's this wild thing where you feel the orchestra start to get it, and then it starts going up, and then it's this wave of laughter. And sometimes you're holding for like 30 seconds, and
you're waiting.
It's so crazy. But oh man, it's infectious.
Minnie Pearl used to say, "Don't step on your applause."
Don't do it. Yeah, that's Robert Horn's catchphrase.
Yeah.
Hold for laughs.
Yeah.
Hold
He'd
for
be
laughs.
happy.
They're too hard to come by.
Can you tell us a couple of? I know you can't. You don't want to give away a lot.
He was like, you can't, but I can say like some maybe that were cut.
Okay.
Were,
yeah, let's do that. That would be great.
Because he is a writing machine.
Yeah.
Like he wrote so many
Tootsie, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And for this, like he kept writing and writing and writing. I get like 10 jokes a day, and I wish they were all in the show, but it would be 4 hours long. But I don't know, like he has Peanut has a lot of I thinks where he has these. Yeah. What was one? I think. The only thing worse than a cold toilet seat is a warm one.
Oh. That's so true.
Oh my God.
Disturbing.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
But that's
Terrible.
the whole thing. They're
That's
almost
great.
like philosophical in a way. And,
Let me read from the TPAC website. Content advisory. Shucked is recommended for ages 10 plus. Shucked contains adult themes, moments of adult language, and a harvest of corny innuendo.
Yes, there's some innuendo, baby.
But the best part is it all happens in such rapid succession that like we took Reese, I think she was 14 at the time, and a lot of it kind of right over her head.
Yes.
But then some of it she really got and laughed.
Wait a second.
But the music too, and knowing that you've got someone like Shane McAnally and like Brandy Clark who were behind some of these songs, it's just incredible.
You saw it in New York?
Yeah. Yes, in previews. And Shane and Brandy were both there that night. So we happened to be in New York, and I said, hey, we're going to come. And we got to hang out with everybody.
Oh, amazing.
And it was one of those moments where you're like, this has been a lifelong creation for them, 10 plus years, than to see it actually on Broadway and now touring.
And now here we are.
So how did you find your way to become Peanut?
I got an audition for it and went in and just... I don't know.
Where did you audition?
In New York.
In New York.
In New York for it. I was actually in for one of the storyteller parts for the Broadway production and out of town. And then, Peanut, they were auditioning for him. And I was like, man, this is like I love this. And he was my favorite part in the show when I saw it. And so auditioned. And it was crazy. I auditioned and it went well. And then I think a couple days later, I went to the Great Gatsby opening, which Jason Howland wrote the music, and he's
Jeremy Jordan.
Unbelievable.
Incredible.
And who's sitting in front of me but Robert Horn? Like a couple, and he looks back and he's like, Mike? And I was like, okay, he remembers my name. That's maybe a good sign. And, he was like, I'll see you at callbacks. And I had no idea at the time I had a callback. And here we are, and it's crazy.
Wait, could
It's
you
a dream.
even focus on the rest of Gatsby because your head is now? I've got a call back.
No, and like he's with the entire like Shucked company too, and I was such a fan of the show, and it was really cool. It's just, and he's the best. And
So who are some of the other characters we meet by name? Peanut,
we got Maisie. She's the hero of the show. She's on the epic quest to save Cobb County. We got Bo, who's my brother, who Peanut just absolutely adores. Gordy, he's the con man. Lulu, I mean, there's all sorts of crazy, kooky characters. You really got to come see it. It's wild.
You guys have been busy. You opened in my hometown of Providence, Rhode
Yes,
Island.
gorgeous place.
Oh,
gorgeous.
The Providence Performing Arts Center is one of those wonderful old ornate theaters.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah, there's such history in that building.
Yeah, I gasped when I walked out there for the first. I was like, oh my goodness, it's just massive and just beautiful. Yeah.
And I think it's so cool too because Shane and Brandy both they came and performed at the Grand Ole Opry this past weekend, but then they also were at the Country Music Hall of Fame along with Robert doing a whole history of how this all became. And I think it's really cool too that a lot of you are going to get to go tour the Opry backstage.
Yes.
And you get to see where Hee Haw was taped for a while. And this started as Hee Haw the musical. So it's like this really fun full circle moment.
Yeah. And isn't that cool? Like, that's what's so neat about just the process of new musicals is where they start and where they end.
Yeah.
And just the amount of rewrites and different people that are involved to, you were talking about Kevin Cahoon. Like, just, he was involved with it, I think, like, from the top. The part I think was called Junior.
Yeah.
If I was told that. And just it's just so fat, and he's wonderful, and like, man, it's just, and this is sort of what the show is about, just like community, and just like it's really cool. It's such
perfect for Nashville.
Yeah.
It is perfect.
Oh man, and what a town too.
Yeah.
I went to Hattie B's last night.
Oh.
Oh, how hot did we go?
I got the Shut the Cluck Up.
Oh, dear.
So, the hottest one. So I have a problem. Like, I always put like hot sauce on everything.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah, like on pasta, it's weird.
Yeah.
And I always go to these places and get the spiciest sauce, like the Blaze and the Inferno, whatever it might be. And that was the sauce. And the guy was like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "I think this is actually going to be pretty," because I have a pretty high heat tolerance.
Yeah.
And it was like, it took a second, and then all of a sudden I was like, there it is. There's Nashville hot. Boom, baby.
This is very brave for someone who speaks and sings for a living.
I mean,
the vocal,
man,
the vocal cords.
It felt good, though. It was like, welcome to Nashville. Here we go.
Mike Nappi, Peanut from the Shucked cast is on Coffee, Country, and Cody.